Okay, next we have our public input or comment. This is time set aside for members of the public to speak to the board about subjects or concerns of interest or items on the agenda. The board will take all information under advisement, but generally will not take any action unless it is emergent in nature. To ensure that your comments are recorded properly, please state your name and address clearly into the microphone and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone on Camino that wishes to make any comments this morning? Okay. Thank you very much. I do have a sign-up sheet here in Coupeville. Shall I just, Ken Picard was the first name on the list.
Thank you. I'm Ken Picard. When I took Psychology 101, they used the term cognitive dissonance, and I never understood it until last Tuesday when I saw Jill at our public information meeting on jet noise up in Oak Harbor. Cognitive dissonance is where a person has a deep, abiding belief in something, and then they're confronted or challenged with information that flies in the face of that real, abiding belief. And the person's reaction is generally denial, and in some cases, anger. And we've been experiencing a lot of this disbelief on the jet noise issue. I want to hand you...
you need to hand it to the clerk, if you could.
The clerk. This is the motion for a preliminary injunction that we filed last week in federal court. I spent a lot of time the last 2 years working this up with our attorneys. I'm giving this to you, and I'm hoping that you will read it with curiosity and an open mind. And I'm also giving each of you a copy of our press release announcing the filing of this motion for injunction. Now, once you read this, you will learn that it's undeniable that the noise that we're experiencing on Central Whidbey and North Whidbey, but primarily at OLF, is causing irreparable severe health impacts to the citizens. Your oath of office, your first oath of office, is to protect the health of the citizens. That's your very first sworn duty. Notice that welfare is second. That's what you're all worried about, that's the economy. But your first and underlying obligation is to protect the health of the citizens. And in our view, you're not doing that. When I read about the Oso mudslide lawsuit against Snohomish County and the state of Washington for negligence in failing to protect the health of the citizens that were killed, I immediately thought about our Board of County Commissioners not protecting our health in Island County, and have begun researching the potential liability of the county for exposing us to this known health risk. We're hoping to avoid litigation with you over this issue, and I'm asking that you adopt a resolution declaring public health emergency on Central Whidbey Island as a result of jet training at the OLF, and also for the banning of those activities at the OLF. I know that you can't tell the Navy what to do, but you need to take a stand and protect our health. Thank you.
Thank you. Make an announcement about that. I appreciate the enthusiasm, but we really need to just not have applause or booing or whatever, however people react. It's really best to make the comments and move forward with this business meeting. I appreciate your enthusiasm for the speakers, but let's just move through the speakers as they are, please. Marion Atwood is next on the list.
Good morning. My name's Marion Atwood. I live on 640 Patmore Road in Coupeville. Citizens of EB's Reserve for a Healthy, Safe, and Peaceful Environment, COER, has provided you this morning with a hard copy of our motion for a preliminary injunction to stop Growler's touch and goes at the OLF until the environmental impact statement is completed and the potential health and environmental impacts of Growler operations are assessed, not after irreparable harms have occurred. The noise levels occurring regularly over our homes and businesses, which are uncontested by the Navy, exceed community noise standards established by the state of Washington, the EPA, and the World Health Organization. Growing up in a time when leaders took positions to protect regular people, not big corporations, I am extremely disappointed with our elected officials who have not yet spoken out on behalf of those who they purport to represent. From all that I have read and from what health experts have told me, we have a health emergency of growing proportions. Therefore, I and COER request that Dr. Thomas, the Environmental Health Officer for Island County, be given authority to review the material that we have given you and write a written summary and recommendations for how to protect Island County citizens from the negative health impacts of the growler jet noise, causing this health emergency. We suggest that this report be provided at the next meeting of the commissioners, and that Dr. Thomas provide oral comments to the public, along with his written report for you commissioners. We believe that this is a very fair request. We would like an answer to our request, and we anticipate that this will be possible, but need to know if it is not. If it's not possible for you to do this, we need to know so other actions can be pursued. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Jan Picard.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'm Jan Picard. I live at 1075 Birchall Road in Coupeville. And in my 3 minutes, I have three things that I wanted to address, and I believe some of them have been addressed already by Ken and Marion. I just wanted to point out with respect to the Health Department, and I wanted to acknowledge to Jill that, I really respect and appreciate the regard that you expressed the other evening about homeless people or poor people and the health impacts on such folks and how the economy plays a large role in that. And I support that myself. It's very, very important to me, too. So we share that. I think not being attentive to the health impacts of jet noise as a reason to try and protect the economy is not a good route to take. And I noticed that the Health Department actually they do an assessment in healthy communities, and that's what they're doing now on a 5-year cycle. And Jill, you're on the Health Department Citizens Commission or Council, as it may be called, to assess the health of the people of the environment in Island County by collecting, analyzing data, and conducting communication health assessments and activities. So it just seems to fit in, and to not include it because it's uncomfortable or controversial just doesn't seem right to me. So I'd just like to make that point. I'd like to make the point about I've been attending the meetings for the Planning Commission, and I have been surprised there because out of 29 points on the first question where they asked folks to list 1 to 3 different concerns that they have, actually the Navy and jet noise was number 5 out of 29 topics, but it has low priority and will not be addressed particularly in that setting, in that venue, and I just ask for consideration there. I would like to talk about my experience in 1 minute, and I'm not going to talk about my health. You can read about it. I have health issues that are directly related to this. But what I really want you to know is where it's taken me. When I meet people that I know and see that I don't see all that often, and they say, hi, how are you? I can't say that I'm good anymore. I mean, I live where I want to live. I live where I love. The community that I was born in, it means everything to me. It's how I spend my time. It's where my commitment is. And I can't say anymore that I'm okay. I'm not okay. The place that I have come all my life for solstice, to be able to get respite, to be able to be prepared and ready to address all the things that come up in my life, in the world now, I feel traumatized. I used to get to the ferry with joy. I get to the ferry now with trauma. That's how I live my life. And my solution is going to be, if we can't resolve this issue, I cannot live here any longer, and that just kills me.
Thank you for your comments.
Okay. And that is my plan. I will have a weekend house, but I will not live here.
Michael Monson is the next speaker.
Good morning. My name is Michael Munson. I live in Coupeville, and I am a jet noise victim. The following have something in common. The Environmental Protection Agency, known as the EPA, the World Health Organization, the London School of Medicine, New York City Department of Health, Cambridge University, Environment International, United States National Institute of Health, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, known as OSHA, the State of Washington, the National Park Service, the Department of Defense, the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, known as NIOSH, the Center for Disease Control, Wiley Labs, who do the health studies for the Navy, noiseandhealth.org, Jerry Lilly, Dr. Ann Danhauer, Dr. James G. Dahlgren, Karen Bowman, the Los Angeles County Department of Health, the San Francisco City Department of Health, the U.S. Navy, the U.S. Army, the U.S. Air Force, the United States Marines, and the United States Coast Guard. What all of these cities, states, counties, and organizations have in common is their recognition of the harm caused by noise. Isn't it time Island County joined these people and recognized the harms caused by EA18G growler noise? This is science, not anecdotal evidence. The Earth was once thought to be flat. Science proved that wrong. People thought that just because there was no blood, that they weren't harmed by noise. Science has proven that wrong. Isn't it time Island County admits, one, that the Earth isn't flat, and two, growler noise is harming the citizens of this area? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Kate Andrews is next on the list.
Hi, my name's Kate Andrews. I live in Coupeville. What I have here are declarations given under oath by your constituents attesting to the fact that they are being harmed and they are being sickened and they are dying due to the noise of the EA18G growler. They now stand in front of the judge in federal court. I'm going to read some of these. I'm just going to read a few, 8 to be specific, and just a few short sentences from them. Number 1, my husband was in the military. My father-in-law was a pilot and a base commander. My children are just terrorized by these jets, all day but especially at night. At night, they wake up in a fearful panic. How can this be happening in America? Number 2, I have depression and lots of anxiety when I know the jets are going to fly. I have lupus, and I was in remission until the growlers came. If any of us tried to do this, we'd be in jail. The Navy has ruined my health, my life, and I'm angry and pissed. Number 3, I'm at the point where I feel like I could kill someone, or at least lie down in front of the jets at the outlying field so they would stop this. I feel like this noise is killing me. My husband was a Navy pilot. My congressman made a joke when I told him how I felt. Number 4, I have sought medical care because of what the noise does to me. Because there are alternate locations to practice, I believe that these are criminal actions. It saddens my heart and alters my life in ways I never could have imagined to believe that in my America, this could be allowed to happen. Number 5, I am sad, I am mad that the Navy is attacking citizens. I had to abandon my home and all my friends on Whidbey Island. I am sick. This is an unbelievable horror. Number 6, the noise is unbearable. I was having a pretty good life, and then the growlers came. I have so many health issues. I'm at the breaking point. Number 7, from a practicing position in Coupeville, I feel invaded, annoyed, and angry. These low vibrations hurt me. And the last one, number 8. I work in aviation and aerospace. I'm a Navy veteran. I served at NAS Whidbey. I suffer from diabetes, hearing loss, depression, and sleep disorder. The growler noise is intolerable. I have never been exposed at any time in my life anywhere near the volume and frequency of the growler noise in my neighborhood. It is unimaginable and unendurable. These are your constituents who are speaking.
Thank you for your comments.
You're welcome.
Judy Gremmel.
My name is Judy Gremmel. I live in Admirals Cove in Coopville, where Growler pilots fly their prescribed path 250 to 350 feet directly over my home in order to bounce safely 4,500 feet away. The noise is equal to standing next to the blasting horn of a diesel locomotive. My husband and I experience almost the same noise as a crew on a carrier. We expect the same array of health problems as Navy personnel, but much worse when you add the stress of the injustice and the effort to fight to make it right. Unlike the crews, we didn't sign up. We got trapped. We weren't given the protection from the noise. The Navy made the National Environmental Protection Act a joke, and the county gives them full support. Realtors made sure we got no choice of duty. We'll never get relief without a very costly move. Past flight crews and other Navy personnel in just 1 year received $150 million in payouts for Navy noise non-compliance, as reported by the Department of Veterans Affairs. My husband and I both measure our hearing loss in the increasingly loud hissing noise we hear continually and our lessening ability to hear each other across the room. We experience extreme stress because of what the noise represents, which shows up in a variety of symptoms you'd expect. I've seen it in my friends over the years that have been robbed, involved in a bad divorce, or been involved in litigation. My husband has a list of serious health problems that are all exacerbated by the noise and stress. I could go on, but I've communicated with 2 of you over the years on many occasions and have been partially had some research as a result, and partially been almost libelously misrepresented in petitions that were presented to the United States Navy representing me as something I am not, and covering the making an excuse for what I'm exposed to. I have a letter I want to read from one of my neighbors. My name is Mark C. Harmon, and I'm a pilot and a longtime resident of the Admirals Cove. My father, Craig A. Harmon, and his business partner, Robert C. Dietrich, a retired naval commander, developed the community. The intent, I'm going to go on because I want to make sure I have enough time. Growler noise.
You're at a half a minute left, so please
Growler
go
noise has affected and altered the lives of my wife and I, with new and continuing presence of my wife's autoimmune disease. Her anxiety levels are no match to compete with the Navy's abuse of civilian health. We are unable to keep and maintain our residence due to her detrimentally aggravated and serious conditions. As I was mentioning, I was going to read their letter. Several people know them, are going, oh, I know what they've gone through. It's been awful. I would hope that the future holds the ability to protect and morally deal with this situation and utilize the facts in a responsible manner for resolution. There is more of this letter, but
Can
I'll
you wrap
end
up
it
your
there.
comments, please? You're out of time.
Yes. Thank you. One last comment. The effort it takes for each of us to write a letter, show up here, and try in 100 ways to stop the jets is killing us, along with the noise. Growler jet noise can only be tolerated by those who benefit substantially from it or don't live under it.
Thank you very much for your comments this morning. Okay. Andrea Groberg is next. We're having a technical... Okay, please go ahead.
My name's Andrea Groberg. I live at 3214 Taylor Road in Oak Harbor. My family is being really affected by these growlers. We all live, my son, my grandchildren. I'm not part of COER. I'm hoping I'm going to start being a voice and starting to bring the people out of North Whidbey. We live under fear of speaking out, which is kind of a horrible way to be doing. I just want to start out that I looked at your mission statement, and it says quality services for a quality life. And my quality life has gone down the toilet. I do have health issues. I have a pregnant daughter-in-law right now that's being told to probably leave her home until after the pregnancy. The reaction when I make a statement is just move. You knew the base was here. You're unpatriotic. I, right now, couldn't even sell my house with a good conscience. Neither could my son, because I would never want to put another family in the position they're in. I've lived in my house for 10 years. The prowlers were there. It was fine. And I've heard some rumors that there was an agreement, kind of, and a compromise made with them. And that's definitely with the prowlers. They fly 6 to 7 days a week. We have flights that start at 8 o'clock in the morning and do not end until 12:30 at night. So it's just hard. This just move, and you knew you lived by basis away, just cut off immediately. Not once do I feel like anybody really cares to listen, and that it doesn't matter. I don't matter. My children don't matter. We're expendable in this equation. I also bring up the poverty issue that Jill brought up. I am an ex-military spouse. My husband is a vet. I wanted to remind you that military members that are E4 and below with families qualify for public assistance. So you take the majority of folks coming in, which are the lower enlisted, and these are folks that could have 10 years in the military. Their pay grades, literally, if they have a family, they qualify for public assistance. So that is someone living at federal poverty level or below. They're getting ready to close the WIC program down on the base by the end of September. This was a support service. How much longer do I have?
1 minute.
Okay. A support service that they were providing to their personnel. That's being taken away and will become part of the county system. Those women that work there have worked there over 20 years. They understand the military experience, and they know where to help people find help. That's going away. And like I said, these growlers, I'm shaking right now even talking about that. I'm worried something's going to happen to my property, and my children are worried about their jobs being lost if they get up and speak. The atmosphere that's been created of us against them, between our paper, some of our political people, the captain of the base, is wrong. And to not live in a community where you can freely speak without really warranted threat to your safety and your property is unconscionable. And that's why I believe not having folks like you that are in a public position that were voted into office, not at least listening. Let's discuss this issue. Let's not pretend it is not occurring, and just show care about that, about your community members that are being affected. Thanks.
Thank you very much for your comments this morning. Tom Ewell.
Good morning. Thank you for the privilege of speaking to you about my concerns about the growlers. I'm Tom Ewell. I live in Clinton. Unlike the others here, I don't live under the jets. I live way at the other end of the island. But several years ago, when I began to see the dissension in the community that Andrea has just spoken about, I decided to bring my years of work in reconciliation and mediation to see if I could find out some way to have a conversation on the island. So I first approached COER, but I also have spoken with every single one of our congressional reps, the senators, their staff, both in Everett District and in D.C. And I've gone to the scopings, I've spoken with leadership in Oak Harbor. I really have tried to do due diligence about getting information. And I've concluded after all this that it's a very complicated problem, which is what we're obviously aware of. But I'm also aware that the core issue, the base issue here, is this noise. It is harmful. It's established now scientifically that it's doing terrible harm to us. And I don't blame the people at Oak Harbor for protecting their jobs. I don't even blame the people at Naval Air Station Whidbey Island. They're simply doing due diligence and the discipline that people that served in the Navy. No, they're doing command work. They're told to do their work, and they do it well. The problem is with the folks who designed this aircraft, knowing full well that they were designing an aircraft that was going to be excessive in noise. I'm upset with the fact that people approved this in Congress, and the people that now are producing it at huge profits, $80 million a crack, at great profit, non-bid. Have 1 minute?
1 minute left, yeah.
I'll conclude by saying that I've spent much of my life doing nonviolence work. Those of you who know me, I'm a Quaker. And it may be a surprise to you and a little counterintuitive, but I'm going to do violence to you right now. I'm going to play some of the noise that we're all affected to, because this is about the noise.
Is it 30 seconds?
Now I'm down to 15 seconds. We aren't going to play it forever anyway. If you are upset by this, this is what people are enduring 6 to 8 hours a day. But you can't hear me. Thank you.
Thank you for
Sorry.
your comments.
But we don't apologize, because if this is actually illegal, anything above 85 is illegal. We're committing a crime probably at 85 decibels, but so is the Navy. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments this morning. Garrett Newkirk is the next on the list.
Good afternoon, County Commissioners. Once again, my name is Garrett Newkirk, North Whidbey Island resident. Once again, I am imploring to you to come out and actually experience what we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Jill Johnson, County Commissioner for Oak Harbor, only is worried about her economics. She should go out to Monkey Hill Road and look at what her economics is doing for the 10 families that are living out there homeless, that have absolutely zero protection from this 150 decibel aircraft. Yesterday we had to leave our home at 7 o'clock in the morning because of the Navy starting up, running their engines, and taking off with afterburners. And if you do not believe me that they are not taking off with afterburners, and Captain Northair keeps telling you that they are not, that is a falsity. Due to the fact you can go to YouTube, type in NASWI, and look for the YouTube videos that are on it. This is not just one time. This is every single day. This is happening to our family and to the families up at Alt Field that are inundated with noise day in and day out, but you refuse to look at the health concerns that this is causing. You think the economics is worth it? Go to Northgate Terrace, drive around Northgate Terrace, and take a look at the homes that have been abandoned. You think it is a joke that people are willing to sell their homes to people and inflict on the harm onto them? Nobody's going to buy in those areas. I mean, you need to stand up for us citizens that are being harmed by this aircraft. These are family. A lot of these families have been here for not just one generation, not just 2 generations, but 4 generations. And you're saying your economics and your way of life is much better than ours. As well, this county's first binding principle is to protect our health. You are not doing that job. And the other is to have a sustainable environment. You do not have a sustainable environment with this aircraft. When we leave our house, we have to wear the little white masks. And I'm actually thinking of going out or reclaiming an AGA mask, which is a full face, same thing the firefighters use, with a regular scuba tank, and using that, because you cannot breathe out there because it smells day in and day out of jet fuel. And I hope you finally actually come out and see what we are having to live with. I mean, that smell of jet fuel, you really think that's good for somebody's lungs? You know, the Surgeon General said smoking's bad for people. People didn't believe they were going to get lung cancer, but, you know, they did. It's only coming down the road.
Thank you for your comments. Jay Decker. Would you like to approach the microphone?
I'm Jay Decker. I speak as a citizen of Admiral's Cove. I live on Keystone Avenue. I am right where the jets come off the water and head for the outfield. I put my comments in a letter with some pictures that I'm going to give to you. Also, as an invitation to come to my house when they're flying, I'll offer beer, wine, hard liquor, coffee, water, whatever you like, and just give you 5 minutes to enjoy enough jet noise to last you a lifetime. I timed them the last time they were flying. They were coming by every 30 seconds. They were flying for several hours at a time, sometimes after midnight. The noise is unbearable in the house. It's impossible outside. Ear protection doesn't help. The noise goes right to your bones. So you have my invitation. What do I do with these?
To give them to our clerk.
And
Right here. Thank you very much. Bob Wilbur, would you like to approach the microphone?
Commissioners, thank you for this opportunity. I'll be very brief. I just want to say that this growler problem has often been touted as a NIMBY issue. I just wanted to make it clear that the growlers do not belong in my backyard. The growlers do not belong in your backyard. They don't belong in any backyard. I'm a neighbor of the Harmons, whose letter Judy Gremmel read, and they cannot return to their house now, given a very strange and mysterious immune deficiency issue that arose. They don't really know why, but they spent all of last year here, and now they can't return. That's all.
Thank you for sharing your comments. Brenda Wilbur?
Hi, my name is Brenda Wilbur, and I live at 118 Keystone Avenue in Admiral's Cove. I'm going to just take a second here. I want to thank you. When we moved here, oh yes, we signed a form. It was rather unspecific about the jet noise. I felt so lonely when those jets flew. I thought I was going to go nuts. And these people are at least making my life feel like there's hope. I live in fear. I think it to me was just a slam in the face for the Navy or whoever to say, we're going to let you know when we're going to fly. You got to look at it another way. To know when they're going to fly, what do? Pack up and leave my home? Go up to Oak Harbor where there's more noise? Go down to Clinton? What do? I have to live my life. I rescue animals, and my life is around those animals. So for 8 hours, I can't walk my animals. I can't go in the garden. I put the headphones on. I feel like I'm living in misery. I am miserable. When those jets fly, I ask my husband, honey, what is the schedule for this week? It is so fearful when he says, well, they're going to fly 3 days. Even when they don't fly, there's fear. When is it going to happen again? Thank you for listening, and I thank these people for making my life at least have hope. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Sue Lashley.
Hello.
Good morning.
My name is Sue Lashley. I live at 544 Casey Road, and I didn't write anything because everything really has already been expressed here. I'm an immigrant to this country. I came here in 1976. Best country in the world. The best government, a democracy, somebody who will represent me. And I tell you, when I'm in my house and those airplanes fly over, I am a victim. I am being terrorized. I am the enemy. Truly, that's how I feel. This situation with these growlers has got to be stopped, or I swear to God, one of these tortured people will do something terrible. Really, do your job.
We should stop the short of the threats.
I'm sorry?
we should probably stop short of threats.
Marion Metcalf is the next speaker.
Actually, it's Marin.
Oh, I'm sorry, Marin.
That's okay.
I apologize.
I'm Marin Metcalf, and my former residence is 327 Grammary Road. I no longer live there. I was lucky enough to sell after the house was on the market for 14 months, which was, I still am sad that I don't have my home. It was a beautiful place, looking across the shipping lanes of Port Townsend. So this is my story. This happened to me. After the growlers started flying, I was home alone one afternoon with my dog Lily, and a plane came extremely close to the top of the house, and it had always been bad, but not like that day. That day was the worst. And I dropped to the floor. I held my head because it was so intense. I felt like my brain was going to explode. I looked at Lily. I'm sorry. She had a stroke in front of me and died as a result of that noise. And she wasn't a particularly fragile dog. The noise was that bad. It's that bad. We were right on Admiral's Cove. We saw the jets coming, and when the old planes were flying, they stayed away from the shore. It seemed that their flight pattern was more of an agreement that they would stay back away from the shoreline enough, and we knew when the planes were going to fly. It was bad, but not like now. Now it has escalated to the point where it's beyond belief. I have a list of autoimmune diseases that I'm dealing with now, and I no longer have a home. And I'm still looking for a place to land. I'm staying with friends in Oak Harbor, which is a whole other story, but that's my story. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Was there anyone else who hadn't signed up on the sheet that wishes to speak this morning? Okay, come on up.
I'm Bonnie Newkirk, and I live on Frosted Road in Oak Harbor, and everything they say is true, and worse for us up in the north end. It's horrible. I mean, they fly over my house below tree level. Captain Nortier has told me that no, they cannot possibly fly there. He calls me a liar. I keep asking him to come out and prove it to me, and he won't. And I have them fly over my house where I absolutely drop to my knees. It is horrible. It shakes my whole body. It has cracked the foundation of my house. My mother is 95 years old. They fly below tree level at her house. They fly between the trees. They tip the planes. The noise is horrendous. I have put them on my decibel reader. It only goes to 140. It maxes out all the time. I have a blueberry farm. I have people that have refused to come and pick because the noise is so horrendous. This has been going on for about 2 years. They used to stay at the park. They refuse to go there anymore. These people are from Seattle and Snohomish County, and they're just not coming anymore. And you need to realize what you're doing to the people. I mean, it's just horrible. I have friends, their horses have gotten out in the road because of the plane noise, and nobody helps them. The planes don't stop. It's just on and on and on. And my family has been here since 1909. This is nothing new. The Navy has encroached on us 4 times now, and we've had no choice. And something needs to be done. You really need to protect us. It's terrifying. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Was there anyone else that wishes to address the board this morning? Okay. Thank you all. We'll close the public comment period.